Hey everyone, my name is Sirit. It's 2021 and I'm back with the Learn to Lead series where we talk about core traits to becoming a great leader. 2020 has been an interesting year. Sometimes it felt like this. So far, we've talked about being authentic, managing perceptions, leading with values, and today we'll talk about core trait number 4, which is working with others. You just came up with a great idea that'll streamline operations, increase productivity, and reduce cost within your department. Cost. You're excited and can't wait to put the idea in motion. The only caveat is that in order for the idea to work, you need your colleague Sam's buy-in. You meet with Sam and excitedly announce your idea. But halfway through, Sam cuts you off and launches into a volley of reasons your idea won't work. 30 minutes of back and forth, you walk away frustrated, and your great idea is now stalled because you couldn't get Sam's buy-in. Sound familiar? Yes, it does. It actually happened to me. And I consider myself an intelligent person. Like the rest of us, I have been to leadership seminars that rave about the importance of collaboration. I know that I alone can't do it all and don't know it all. I need other people's expertise and buy-in to succeed in my own career goals. But when I encounter a Sam, against my better judgment, I walk away from all of those benefits. So to opine on this very tricky topic, I'm going to invite a former colleague, a mentor, a retired C-suite executive, Yakut Akman. Yakut, have you ever had a Sam in your career?
You know, Sirat, I was smiling listening to you talk about Sam because I'm afraid I was Sam to a lot of people over the years. I wasn't mean or didn't mean to intentionally resist people, but I had very strong opinions and I thought people did or would agree with me. I did okay for the most part, but I didn't realize what I was missing until I had an aha moment at a leadership course many years ago, actually in London. As part of this 1 week long training course, we were broken into groups and a team exercise called for us to build a bridge using these 2x4s and 6x4s. I don't remember all the details, but as we were to build this bridge, we were not allowed to set foot on the ground. So I listened to all the instructions, and as soon as they told us, okay, you may go and build your bridge, I developed a plan which I thought was brilliant, and I went to execute. I did not talk to anyone. I thought people would just follow me. And as I started executing, I picked up a penalty point and another one. And the person watching us said, third penalty point. Now I was getting frustrated, and then I felt a tap on my shoulder. And the person said to me, I'm going to ask you to step aside and not play this game because you're hurting your team. You're hurting your team. The words that live with me to this day, but the words that taught me some great lessons, taught me that as a solo performer, I did not have the best answers, and there was much more value in partnering with others and learning from them.
Nice story, Yakut. Takes guts to admit that you were once a Sam, and even more guts to course correct. If I'm being honest, I'm sure I was a Sam to some people in my career at some point. Pretty much stings to be on the receiving end of the Sam situation, but I want to ask you, why is it sometimes so difficult to collaborate?
I think when we're really small, like in kindergarten, we're encouraged to play nicely in the sand and share our toys and so on and so forth. But as we get older, I think the rules and expectations change. Certainly throughout school life, success is predominantly based on individual performance. That's true in sports, true in performance arts. After all, the good ones, the skilled ones, are the ones that are awarded. They're the valedictorians. They're the ones who get the scholarship. Even in team sports, there's an MVP. So being judged based on individual performance becomes the norm, certainly by the time we're in our late teens or early 20s. So when we go into our professional careers, we tend to hide our faults and exaggerate our strengths. After all, we get promoted individually. So our natural tendency is not necessarily to partner or collaborate with others, but to show off our own individual abilities and demonstrate that our skills and our knowledge are better than everyone else's.
Absolutely. Our upbringing, culture, and mindset really shape the way we work with other people. Your MVP example got me thinking, being an MVP is a prestigious award, but the ultimate goal is to win the championship, right? And for that, we need a team that trusts one another, that feels comfortable challenging each other's ideas respectfully, and is focused on the actual team goal instead of individual ego. And man, do those MVPs love their teams. In every conference, in every interview, they refer to themselves as part of their team. So, Yakut, how can we create a team environment that is positive and supportive?
In my view, a critical component of collaboration, which is often overlooked, is giving credit to others. People like to be praised. People like to receive positive feedback. So when you're working with others, make every effort to acknowledge their ideas, their contributions. Be generous with your praise, but more importantly, be genuine. Don't hand it like candy, because then it loses its importance because it's not sincere. If you do this right, you will gain a reputation as being a positive, empowering, and inspiring leader, and the right people will follow you.
You know, listening to you talk, Yakut, if I could advise my 20-something self, I'd say, Sirat, your name is not Sirat, so help others learn to say your name correctly. And second, stop being so married to how your idea should work. Engage others, enlist them in your cause, and pay close attention to the ones who poke holes in your idea. Those could be your biggest allies. In fact, get them on your team, work with them to solution, and be generous when sharing credit and praise. And lastly, stop making being recognized or promoted a career priority, and start focusing on creating high value, high impact work with a strong team that offers trust, support, and respect.
I had the opportunity to work with a very positive senior executive for many years, and I had an aha moment once during a town hall when this person was, the senior executive was giving his updates and walking around the room, and all of a sudden he called on a junior person and asked a question. Junior person who was called upon just froze. He didn't know what to say. But the senior executive sensed that before everyone else did. So within a second, as he was holding the microphone, he took the microphone back and he said, I know exactly what you're thinking. You think the answer is XYZ, and you're absolutely so right. And he moved on. And I was in awe of what had just taken place in front of my eyes. The junior person was over the moon with, what he didn't do but got credit for, and the town hall continued.
In closing, if your job involves working with people, then two things are certain. One, you've had a Sam in your career, and two, you've been a Sam to some people in your career. And even though working with others may not come naturally to us and isn't a walk in the park because of the personalities and the different levels of upbringing and generational things, etc., but the pros outweigh the cons, right? The pros outweigh the cons. Don't be short-sighted and focus on being the MVP of your team when you can focus on the bigger prize, which is winning that championship with your team.